What's up, guys? In this video, I want to talk about why I personally prefer Nightgame and specifically practicing pickup in nightclubs as opposed to Daygame or some other type of game. I guess there's really just Daygame and Nightgame. Now, the reason I want to make this video is because I feel like a lot of people, when they first kind of start to seriously consider getting into pickup or improving their dating lives, they rule out the possibility of doing it at night. I know this was true for me. I was not a night person. I was the type of person, the sun comes up, shines in my window, and I'm up, I'm out of bed. I had you have a job, obviously. Your job is generally during the day, and you have to go to work. And by the time you come home, you probably don't want to go out at 10 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night and practice your social skills. Talking to new girls requires a lot of energy. You're tired from the day. You got to get up early in the morning. It's not something that a lot of guys, I feel, really see that it fits into their life. So a lot of guys will kind of make the choice to focus more on day game. And that's totally fine. I think that however you decide to focus on improving your social skills and meeting new women, I think that's fine. Do what you got to do. But I will tell you why I personally prefer night game and club game specifically. Okay, so the first reason, and I would say the most important reason, is that it offers an incredibly high level of anonymity when you do it. Right? Think about the two situations. You're at Starbucks, for example, and you see an attractive girl that you want to talk to. You go up to the girl, and let's say for whatever reason the set doesn't go well. She's creeped out. You're a little awkward. You're not warmed up. You spill your drink, whatever, and it's just not a good interaction. You can't really go up to the next girl who's a couple feet away from her and approach her, right? It's a little bit awkward, and you kind of burned yourself for the entire venue, right? Or Starbucks or whatever it is. So there's not really any anonymity. Everyone will see you do it, and you kind of can't really, you can't really recover from it. I mean, I guess you could, but it's much harder. You don't get to start fresh. If you want to do it at a shopping mall, I guess you have a little bit more anonymity. But the problem, and this is the second reason that I prefer night game over day game, is that during day game you have to you can't do a lot of sets consecutively, right? It's a little weird almost if you try doing set after set after set with minimal downtime in between the sets, which is one of the ways to get very good very quickly, is just do a lot more sets. But if it's the daytime and you're out, whatever, Whole Foods, let's say, number one, you don't have the anonymity. Number two, you have to hunt for the target, see where's an attractive girl that I can talk to? You have to look down the aisles, you have to look over here, look over there, or in a shopping mall, or even on the street, right? Unless you're Times Square or something in New York, you could make that argument. It's a little bit easier. But, is that most places, Times Square in New York? No, it's probably not. So the second reason is that when you're in a nightclub, you have a lot more attractive women and groups that you can approach and kind of practice on. Whereas in the daytime, you don't really have that level of volume. And in my opinion, one of the ways to get good quickly and the most fun way to practice pickup is to have as little downtime as possible in between sets. It's especially important when you're starting out. This is very similar to when I used to work in sales, and the type of sales that I did, it was very similar to pickup. It was face-to-face, you're talking to customers, you're talking actually to women, and you're trying to sell them something. It's like a high-pressure situation. And it's like a high pressure situation, and you need to do a lot of sets to get out of your head, right? And if you don't have that, then you're going to progress slower, and it's going to be more painful progress. But in a nightclub, you have lots of more attractive women who are in the same place. They're all kind of the club did the work of getting them all together in the same place for you. So you really just have to kind of go from one to the next to talk to them. The third reason that I prefer clubs over day game is that women in clubs on average tend to be more attractive. Now, obviously, I'm not saying every girl who goes to a club is attractive. Most people, in the world are going to be less attractive. The percentage of attractive people is a smaller percentage naturally, just because most people aren't attractive, just how it is. But in a club, you have a lot more potentially attractive people that you can talk to. Whereas in the daytime, you have to go and look for the right ones. You're is she attractive? Not really. What about this one? What about this one? But in a club, they're all just kind of there for you. They're all maybe not there. They're not all there, but you're going to have at least, it depends what your standards are. You're going to have at least 10, maybe 15, maybe 20, maybe more, depending on how high your standards are and where you are. So when you're approaching girls who are more attractive, it's more fun because you're like, wow, if this goes well, the payoff is actually really big because she's so hot, The fourth reason that sorry, I just have to text someone. The fourth reason that I prefer clubs over Daygame is that at a nightclub, girls are generally more receptive to talking to you. Okay, now some people agree with this, some people disagree with this, but in my opinion, girls who are what do you have going for you in your advantage, right? A lot of times they've had alcohol, right, which lowers your inhibitions. I'm not saying, prey on drunk girls or anything like that, but let's face it, like when people drink alcohol, they're more likely to do things that they wouldn't normally do. Number two, the lights are low, so everybody looks more attractive in the dark, so you already look more attractive. Number three, girls tend to get dressed up when they go to the club, so they feel sexier. They're just kind of in a more sexy mood. And you also should be dressing nice and wearing nice clothes when you go out, so you'll actually look better as well. Number four, they're just more open to meeting people, I've noticed, in a club. Obviously not everybody. You're gonna have some girls who are bitches and who just kind of go there to get attention and shut guys down. It's fine, you're gonna get that. But a lot of them, they go out, potentially thinking about meeting somebody and having a very exciting night. And the fifth one, I would say that's the most important, is that it happens I heard once from RSD Luke, who's another pickup instructor, or Luke Crow as he goes now, is that sex happens at the corner of 2 a.m. and your place, right? What's more likely, all things considered, that you go to a club and you meet a girl and you guys hang out and go to the after party, and then you go back to your place for the after party, let's say, and you're both sitting there at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. in your apartment by yourselves. It's pretty likely that something's going to happen, as opposed to if you go to Whole Foods in the middle of the daytime and you talk to a girl and you somehow bring her back to your place to hook up with her. What's more likely to happen? I would argue that the first one is more likely to happen. Why? Because during the daytime, girls, they've got stuff, everybody's got stuff to do in the daytime. Maybe she's on a break from work, maybe she's going to work, maybe she's got some extracurricular activity to do, maybe she's on her way to the gym, maybe she's got to cook dinner for her friends. You never know. But if she's at a nightclub, chances are, especially if it's late at night, chances are she's at a nightclub, she's had something to drink, and if she's out late at night, she probably doesn't have much to do the next day. Otherwise, she wouldn't be out late at night. You could make that argument. And then the final one, this is kind of related to the last one, which is that if we break it down to its simplest points, and this is something, also that I kind of took from Luke, is that if you are alone with a girl in your room at 3 a.m., then it's likely that something will happen, right? If we just strip it down to as simple an explanation as that, if you're alone with a girl in your room at 3 a.m., something's going to happen, right? Think about it like that. So all you have to do is create a situation so that is the case, right? Now, a very common situation for people to stay up late and go out and socialize is to go to a club, right? So it's not such a stretch in logic to think that if you can somehow just create a situation where you're in your room alone at night. Obviously, I'm not saying be unethical or lie or anything like that. But for example, what could you do? You could start out at the club, start talking to people. Maybe you dance a little bit. Maybe if you're there with your friends, she's there with her friends. You say, hey, let's go eat after this. We're going to go eat at this place. It's so amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then you go eat there and you say, oh my God, I have to show you the view from my apartment. The view on the roof is so cool. It's whatever. It's like the most amazing view of the city. And you bring both groups back, right? And everybody goes there, and then you go back down to your room to your apartment for the after party. Everybody's drinking, having a good time. People start to fall off, and you can tell that it's on with your girl. People will start to fall off. Luke calls this attrition game, right? Where let's say you're there with like a couple friends, like this guy can tell that nothing's going to happen. There's no prospects for him. You and your girl are vibing pretty well. The other girls can see that like there's nothing interesting there going on. So maybe they fall asleep on the couch, or maybe they go home. This person's got to get up early in the morning. The other person doesn't want to ruin their day the next day by staying up all night. So long story short is that eventually what ends up happening is that most people end up either going to bed or leaving you and the girl who you're vibing with to be alone in your room at night when that's supposed to happen. But all you have to do, really, if you think about it, like I said, if you strip it down, is that you just have to create a situation where you and her are alone in your room at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. or whatever, late at night, basically. And then something will happen. And then from there, you can choose to develop that relationship as much as you want, if you want. Okay, so that is why, what are those 6 reasons? Those are the 6 reasons why I prefer Nightgame to Daygame, and specifically why I like practicing pickup in clubs. There's other reasons as well, but those are 6 of them. Do you guys have any questions about club game? Again, to be fair, I'm no pickup expert. I'm not a guru or anything like that. Doing these videos more as a way for me to clarify my own knowledge and for me to kind of track my own progress, because this is something I'm interested in and I just like doing it. So if you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any suggestions or any other topics you want me to talk about, let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.